My name is John McLellan. The war changed me and my family forever. I was born in the little town of Weeks Mills near Lake Sebago. It was tough living. Mother died when I was 9 and father died when I was 16. When the war began, I was 21 and working for my older brother, but a small farm on the slope of a hill was barely making it. A soldier's pay and some adventure sure sounded good to me. So when I heard there was a new regiment of volunteers forming in Portland, I left home to join up. My younger brother, William, just 18, went with me. Training camp for the 5th Maine was at the old trotting track in South Portland. Officers with no experience schooled us in the use of muskets and marching in complex formations. The citizens of the city turned out in their carriages to see us. They watched, picnicked, and shared cake and cookies with us. At night our camps were unruly. Some even snuck into town. But at the end of June we were pronounced soldiers and I was mustered into service as a corporal. The next day, a regiment of more than 1,000 soldiers marched on Commercial Street in Portland and boarded a train at the depot. Willie and I had never been on a train. Our trip south to the seat of war in Washington was one long parade. In those days, trains stopped every 25, 30 miles or so for water, and at each stop residents turned out to cheer us on. We were already heroes. In Boston, we marched to the Common and were treated to a sit-down dinner. Next, we took a steamer to New York City. There we marched down Park Avenue, where we were honored by speeches and feasted on yet another dinner. In Philadelphia, citizens established a permanent refreshment saloon to welcome all the soldiers passing through. In July, the regiment was finally camped at Meridian Hill in Washington, D.C. It was a pretty place with steady breezes and a great view. The Capitol, then under construction, and the White House were within an easy walk. We were treated to sights that few of our countrymen had ever seen. In July, we marched confidently into Virginia to do battle with the rebels. A few days before the battle, Bull Run, William saw an apple tree. Even though the apples were green and the lower apples had been picked, my brother could not resist. He reached with the butt of his musket to knock one off. That was when I heard the boom. My friend Otis Perkins wrote about the incident in a letter home. An accident occurred on the 17th. William McLellan shot himself. He went to knock apples off a tree with the breech of his gun and went through his thigh. It cut an artery inside. He lived about 3 hours and was buried the next morning. His brother felt very bad. After Bull Run, I was promoted to sergeant. And just before Gettysburg, I was promoted to lieutenant and finally to captain. After the war, I did quite well. But I never forgot my poor brother. In 1888, I brought him the largest memorial window in the regimental hall. You can see it in the alcove. May God bless him.